Okay, welcome members and friends. It is another opportunity that we get to share and learn. This is our fourth session, and it's my hope that all of us are going to learn something new. Remember, nobody's wrong. It only depends with how you present your points. So the rules of the meeting is, let us not look down upon anyone's comment, anyone's question, and also ensure that you keep your mic mute unless you're speaking, so that at least we don't interrupt other people's listening. So it's a fine opportunity again, and I would love us to start with a word of prayer. I don't know who is feeling spiritually enough to lead us in a word of prayer. Can we have a volunteer to lead us in a word of prayer? Who is leading us in a word of prayer? Barak, do you mind praying for us? Now that your mic is on.
I don't know whether my voice is audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
I'm audible. Okay, I can pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you and to give you glory for this opportunity that you granted unto us this evening, of Jehovah. We thank you also for the blessing, Lord, as we want to embark on this topic of today of aligning our CVs to our job applications. We pray, O King of Glory, that may you give us wisdom, may you give us direction, and may you guide us, O Jehovah Lord, so that whatever we'll be receiving from our coach and from our fellow attendees may be into good use, O Father. We glorify your name and we thank you because we know, O Jehovah Lord, that in everything above, you take credit above. And we trust in you, O Father, that you grant us all the favors that we need for this going forward. For in Jesus' name I pray and believe.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us a word of prayer. I would like to give this chance to around two of us, maybe to give us our expectation. And then from there, we can be able to proceed. So I'm going to give this chance to also a volunteer. I'm going to give this chance to a volunteer also to give us, what do you expect at the end of this meeting today? What are your expectations and what are you looking forward to learning? Yes, should you allow me to pick at random or somebody wants to volunteer? Okay, Loretta, what are your expectations today? You can unmute and speak. You guys can't hear me? If you can hear me, kindly let me know in the comment section. Somebody says they can't hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Okay, thank you.
This is Loretta.
Yes. What are your expectations? Yes.
more compliant, and also to be able to navigate through the different job opportunities and align my CV to them, because I'm in the process of applying for jobs, and I think I need to make myself more out there.
Okay, thank you. A gentleman who wants to volunteer? Yes, Vincent, what are your expectations today? Vincent, what are your expectations today? You can unmute and speak.
Coach, may I come in?
Yes, yes, please do.
Kindly, I just joined yesterday the group and I appreciate it so much, and even my colleagues. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yeah, so my purpose for joining, basically we are in a very, very competitive job market. Remember, many of us have got different qualifications, but now the challenge is the country that we live in, or the world that we live in currently, is so funny. When I was a bit young, I could hear if somebody graduated for a particular profession, then they could get the relevant jobs. Now, it is challenging currently because we are in that situation that you will find a nurse working within a bank. Now, in this particular meeting, what I'd like to, by the end of it all, to get clear is, now, how do I pitch my CV? I have a particular professional background, but how do I pitch my CV in a way that if there's a job opportunity that is somewhere, I'm able to compete with the others? Remember, somebody like me, I've got a CV that I can call it a template, that any job opportunity that I see somewhere, I use the same CV everywhere. So in a nutshell, what I expect after this discussion is, how do I pitch my CV so that at least I can also compete with others with different job vacancies that appear? That's all from me.
Thank you. Let me open the floor to one more person. You can unmute and speak.
Hello, Kevin.
Yes.
I don't know whether you are getting me now.
Yes, yes, I can. We can hear you loud and clear.
Thanks so much to all members who have attended this. It is my first time, though I've been in the group for a while since it was open, but it's my first time to attend this meeting. So I'm grateful for this meeting. What I would like to say is that I have three questions which I would like to raise. First is about the difference between a resume and a CV. There are some who are saying that there are some of the jobs which you should not apply when they require a resume. You should not share your CV. And there are some who are saying that is the same. So I don't know whether it is the same or is that different. That's the first question. The second question is, like the other speaker has said, the previous speaker said that the job market has been flooded. So in this current generation, you'll get that there's a job which require you to have at least 2 or 3 years of experience. And there are some of the jobs which require the first timers to at least have, like me, I did business management, purchasing and supplies, which require you to at least have professional skills. And to some extent, you'll get that while you are going to school, you struggle to at least have that degree. And you wanted to at least have the first job for you to also proceed with the learning, continue your learning to further your further education. So those are some of the challenges you are facing with us who are trying to at least get the first job. Another thing, I've been in the job industry for a while. I've worked for 3 years. Like I said, I did purchasing and supplies, but the work I did, my work experience has not been in line with the purchasing and supplies which I did. So I've been doing different things. So trying to change the job industry from whatever I'm currently doing to my field of study, which align with my skills, is currently hard. How will you help me on those ones? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Vincent. That being said, one key thing to note is the job market nowadays is kind of flooded, and there is competitive advantage. And this is why you'll find that even after applying for so many jobs, you lack, sometimes you're not lucky enough to secure the position. So the main purpose of organizing this webinar today is sometimes I get a lot of inquiries, especially in terms of, I get a lot of inquiries in terms of, coach, can you please help me review my CV to see if my CV is the problem, because I've been applying for positions, but still I'm unable to even secure an interview. So I thought it wise to have this session so that at least we could reach so many people at the same time. And that being said, the main reason is sometimes you might have a well-crafted CV, but you realize that when applying for the position, whatever your CV says is not like, it doesn't stand out in regards to what the employers are looking for. And if we are looking forward to secure positions, there are things that we need to know in the 21st century, especially in the age that we are living now, in regards to the CV and the cover letter and the resume that you have. So it is always very paramount that even though you've paid a career coach, you've paid a CV bumper to look into your CV, still you need to have the know-how, and you need to really be observant enough to know which areas of my CV can serve as maybe a magnet to the recruiting agencies, can serve as a magnet maybe to the hiring managers. So this is the main reason as to why we organized this session, and it's my hope and dream that we get to learn, and we also get to utilize the skills that we are going to learn here, so that we can increase our chances of getting a job. Remember, when I started this year, I made it a personal goal that I would love to impact 100,000. I would love to impact 100,000 job seekers, secure opportunities. And in doing so, my main strategy was to do this one through coaching, through training, and also maybe just have a one-on-one with some of us on how to go about that. As we speak now, I can say that we are hitting around, we are almost hitting 3,000 people that we've impacted this year, of which the number is still rising, because each and every day we get new testimonials, new people who've gotten the job opportunities. But it's the simple things that we talk about here, that even if you go somewhere and apply, you'll realize that you increase your chances of getting employed. So one thing also I would love to put across is, with as much as you trusted somebody to do your CV, remember that person doesn't know you enough. And in most cases, sorry to say so, but most of these people we pay, they're using systems or the AI tools to help you prepare your CV. So what they normally do is, the CV, you'll have a very well-crafted CV with a good format, but still it doesn't pick clearly, pick clearly what your current employers or for our future employers are looking for. So you need to revise and understand your CV, every section of your CV, and what it automatically picks out, and what makes you like the best candidate in case you apply for these positions. That being said, allow me that direct now to today's topic, whereby matching the CV with the job description is the key to gaining success today. If you, maybe something that also needs to mention is, if you've paid somebody to do your CV, don't just let them send you the PDF version. Also ensure that you acquire the Word document so that at least you can apply for this position. You realize that you can be spending so much money in that if you want to apply for a job, there are some unscrupulous coaches outside here whereby they'll deny you a chance that even if you want to apply for a particular position, they will be calling on you maybe to talk to them so that they can do the edits that you want. But it's paramount that you be the master. You can have the format, we can pay somebody to do the format for you, and then afterwards now you can be doing these sections just to ensure that you capture the relevant attention. So one of the key areas that our founders are failing, especially when it comes to getting these jobs and also applying for these jobs, is that we don't become observant enough. We assume that once we've crafted our CVs, and then now it is the sole responsibility of the hiring manager or the hiring agency to sift through our CVs to see if whatever is in our CV qualifies us to be on that position. There's something I've been reiterating in the sessions that we've been having, that in most cases, you'll find that it's an AI that goes through your CV to see whether you are fit for the position or not. And sometimes they just go through the first page, but you'll realize the qualities or the experience needed, you've reflected it on the third page or even on the second page of your CV. So having a clear resume is what will make you become the best candidate. And how do you go about this? How do you ensure that you match your resume, you match your resume, you match what you do, so that at least you get to succeed. You get to succeed. So let us delve deep and now start maybe to look like, allow me now share my screen. Allow me now share my screen so that we can proceed. And just note that this is just but a basic understanding on the same, whereby last session we had in our first cohort we had people who attended, and I can categorically say that 2 of them have secured positions and 2 of them are the interviews that are ongoing, because in those sessions we got to analyze step by step how you can apply for these jobs, what you need to look for when you're applying for this job, and then finally, once you've gotten this job, how do you sell yourself to the current employer, so that when you're done with your interview, what happens is, yes, I'm the perfect candidate that you are looking for. So these are some of the sessions that we went through, and we realized that all of us could not attend the sessions, and this is why I introduced the cohort thing, whereby we are done with our cohort 1. So we are in the cohort 2, which will be held on 9th of next month, at least to give us chance of securing interviews. The most important thing about this cohort is when we have a one-on-one session with you, I get to understand what you do, I get to understand your skills, and if you tap something from the meetings that we have, in case an opportunity comes, because at least I can count on you in that whatever you've learned, and you can utilize whatever we've learned to help you secure the jobs. But I'm not saying if you've not paid for the sessions, if a job comes, I won't be posting it on the group. But what I would like to make categorically clear is I've given people positions before, but you'll realize that some of them have disappointed me in that I trust them with the people I recommend them to, but you'll find that in one reason or the other, some ends up stealing from the employer. Some of them get lady because they were recommended by Coach Kelvin, and there's nothing that can happen to this. So some of them are taking advantage of the situation. What am I trying to say? I am trying to say that in this case, it's important for us to have a personal relationship. I don't have to meet you to have coffee with you to understand your personal relationship. One way of knowing this is we can interact either through the keyboard that is on our WhatsApp, maybe the groups. You can get in touch with me, we just have a conversation, or tentatively you can join the free sessions and even the paid sessions, so that I get to understand what you do. I can tell you that there are people in this session right now, I just knew them like a week or two ago, but if something comes up, at least I can categorically point them and say, for example, H is the right perfect fit for this group. So I would ask us to still continue and maintain being in the group so that at least we get to learn. If you are not in a position to afford the premium version, I would just ask you to keep on attending the free versions, because even in these free versions, we ensure that we give value so that you get to understand what you can do. So the purpose of this presentation is to help you in understanding. I would ask us all to mute our mics, please. I would ask us all to mute our mics, please. I would ask us to all mute our mics. If your mic is on, kindly ensure that you mute your mic so that we don't interrupt the listening of others. So the purpose is to gain understanding into the job hunting, which is we are in a very competitive environment. And number two is to gain useful and practical advice on how job seekers can market themselves successfully as the ideal candidate to the potential employer. So upon completion of this presentation, I would have it would be my dream that we know how to make an immediate impact with our CVs, and also know the key format and content for the CVs and cover letter, and then know how to prepare for the interview. So please hold the dial and give me your attention for the next 1.5 hours. Yeah, for the next 1.5 hours, so that at least we get to learn something new. So our job market today is very competitive, and it's very important that you have your unique selling proposition, your unique selling methods. Remember, like there are so many overqualified job seekers, there are so many underqualified job seekers, and there's those people who have connections to secure their jobs. So if you're not in a position maybe to be amongst these lucky ones, it will compel you to work extra hard so that at least you sell yourself. You become your own godfather. So job market needs added value. Just your experience alone, your experience alone cannot earn you the table. Remember your CV. Your CV just gives you like the CV opens the door for you, but you realize that now it's the interview that will help you get a seat in that office. So we also need to look into the job searching methods and the transferable skills, and all those stuffs are listed there. So job search and job seekers. Now, if you're applying for a job, for instance, these are some of the things that you need to understand about the job application process, whereby the first thing is that you'll access the job advert. After accessing the job advert, you'll apply for these jobs either through online applications, and then or just maybe sending in your documents physically to their offices. And then after that, you'll be called for an interview. So you might be called for several interviews. This is the first interview, second interview, and any other interviews, so that at least you get to be employed. So it's very paramount that you understand the job functions and the task that you're going to perform in that organization. So understanding the job description is always key. And when you talk about understanding the job description, what I'm talking about here is not just go through the experience session to maybe highlight what is reflected on your CV, and then you conclude that you are the best candidate of the job. The important reason for understanding the important reason for understanding the job description, this is to help you package yourself as the best candidate for that job. And in that case, when you package yourself for the best candidate for this job, it will help you through the job application and all through to the interview process. So let me first touch on maybe just before I touch on that, these are three different, around 4 different how we get these jobs. Number one is friends and relative, which cuts to around 35%, 28%. Then we have if you apply directly to the employer, that cuts for around 35%. Then employment agencies, employment agency, that cuts around 11%, and all those other stuff. So if we join, I would kindly ask us to mute our mic so that we don't interrupt the the session or the listening to others. So job hunters here is in order of their preference. Number one is your CV that will get you the job. Number two is through the advertisements. Number four is through agencies. Number three, agencies. We have the colleagues, referrals, contacts. So these are just some of the areas where you can maybe market, or you can do research on where to find the jobs. So your CV will always open up the door for you, depending on who they depending on who the company is looking for. So employers, if you want to maybe get this job, say that you can look into their website. You can talk to your colleagues, maybe through referrals, you'll get maybe to know if there's an opposition. We have the drop-ins, whereby you just walk into the office and ask if they have an opening. We have contacts, whereby you can call your contacts just to find out if there is an opening in those offices. Then we have the agencies and ads, and then finally the CV. So these are just some of the ways that maybe you can use to get these jobs. That being said, allow me digress a bit and now focus on the job application. And allow me digress a bit and focus on the job application. Then we'll continue with that slide. I don't know how tired are you by applying for positions over and over and not getting these returns. Before we get into now how you can marry these two stuff, there's one thing I need to tell you. For people who've been joining my sessions, there are so many fake job adverts outside here. And when you go to this online platform to apply for jobs, you'll be advised by a prom. You can apply for this position in 10 different agencies. The question you need to ask yourself, if this organization the question you need to ask yourself is what I don't know, Sharon amekuja huku hadi interfere with my thought process. Kindly let us try to mute our mics. So the key thing that you need to do is you need to be very careful when applying for these jobs, so that you don't become a victim of applying to fake jobs that will just end up wasting your time. So in that case, submitting the same resume over and over again to a different jobs that you're applying for is that one of the root causes of you not being able to secure an interview. So you need to always have these resumes. And when you're having these resumes, it is very paramount that you go through the job application, you go through the job advert, understand the language that these people are speaking, understand the nouns and adjectives that these people are seeking, understand the experience that these people are looking for, and then understand the key skills that they are looking for. The reason for doing so is at least now to help you customize your CV so that you can provide a cheap CV to the ATS system. What do we normally do? The first thing that we do when we get this position is we rush through the title. Let's take an example. You are interviewing for the executive salesperson or executive customer service associate. Then you'll check into the title. Once you've checked into the title, you ask yourself, you convince yourself that you've been in the industry maybe for around 10 or even 20 years. Now you qualify to be the best customer service associate. Then what you do is you brush through the requirements. We are looking for somebody with 10 years or 4 years experience in customer service. Yes, that one I have, you tick the box. We are looking for somebody who is team leader, blah, blah, we tick the box. Even without taking your time to understand or analyze the job description, you go and click now apply button. Because you've trusted the gods of the CVs, the CVs can do you the magic. You'll waste your time, apply for that position, and then you realize that when the time comes, you cannot get this position. So it's always very important that you get to understand the job description. And how do you understand the job description? I would advise that every time you want to apply, always have a pen and a paper. And when you're doing that, you list down like the keywords, you'll pick the keywords from the job advert. And then in the process, we are going to see how can you use these keywords, get them to your CV, so that when they are doing the scanning, or if an individual is going through the first pages of your CV, that alone should convince them that you're the best candidate for this position. So if you want to get hired in this competitive job market, you need to always know how to revise your CV. So the good news is sometimes we look very far very far for the answers that we have, but you realize that the answers are just in front of you. It's you who is not taking your time, because either you've applied to so many jobs you get frustrated, or you're just applying for the jobs for the sake of applying for this job. Remember, the employer has given you what they want. So it is your key role to give them back what you can do, or how you can help them solve what they want. And this can be found on either their website, or they can be found on their career pages, or they can just be found on the job advert itself. On the job advert, there's some employers even has made it easier for you. They'll describe for you what the company does. They'll describe for you what the kind of competency and skills they're looking for. They'll go ahead and describe for you the kind of qualifications that they are looking for. Because we want to do it, we want to make our work easier. We don't want to spend our time on the job application processes. It is a must that you get to understand the role that you're applying for. Some of us, as long as there are people, we found ourselves in a situation whereby we're just applying for any job that come our way. Whether it's as long as we are called for an interview, we'll get to sort ourselves in there, maybe when we get to the interview. But it is always very paramount. Get to understand the importance of the role and what is expected of you. And as we proceed with this presentation, we are going to see how is that going to come in handy to help you advance your job search. The next point is now, let us now get ready and let's get started. What exactly do you pull from the job description? So before you begin editing your CV and copy pasting the skills and pasting them on your job descriptions, you need to understand how the different roles of your resume and cover letter. So you should provide a hiring manager with data that demonstrate that you're qualified for that job. And then we confuse maybe between the CV letter and the cover letter. As in the CV, sorry, the CV on the cover letter. The CV is just demonstrating that you're qualified for this job. And then now the cover letter will come in and explain to them why you want the job. So as you recraft your resume for each role, you need to align your hard skills and soft skills, the previous work and responsibilities, and the daily tasks and projects to those listed in the JD. You've read, I think if we get time, we'll go through, in our premium session, we'll be going through, whereby we'll pick a job application and then pick a sample of the CV and see how can you intermarry this. So you may be thinking this sounds easy, but a JD is pretty straightforward, right? Well, that is not the case. A JD is just a traditional number of details to decode. You cannot sell yourself in a four-piece of a paper. You need at least to know what exactly to reflect for. So here, the JD you want should focus on customizing your resume to at least speak volumes of who you are in the shortest way possible. So number one is, what are they looking for and what you will be doing? So what are these people looking for. So mostly these will start with a description of the role using generic terms and jargons. So depending on the job, you might see various phrases like coordinate department need and activities, including scheduling meetings and organizing files. You might get something like analyze competitive markets and present data insights and suggestion for improvement for the product team. So when you're editing these things, the clues that you're looking for, the clues are what you need to look for. And I need you to note these one down because it is very important. So the clues about your responsibilities will show adverbs like, will show verbs like coordinating, scheduling, organizing, analyzing, presenting, writing, editing, and proofreading. So these clues about like under the responsibilities, you'll see the language that they're using. We would love to have somebody who is proficient in communication. You'd like somebody who is proficient in this editing software, editing, and all such kind of things. List those keywords down, and we are going to see where are you going to use these keywords, because some of us think that if we go through the job application, maybe pick the keywords and then put them somewhere below our names, the ATS system will automatically pick and know that that is what they are looking for. So it is very important that you elaborate this case, and I think as we continue, we are going to see how you can utilize this to match the two. So on your resume, you'll be focusing more on the core responsibilities of the role and less desired behavior traits. You'll find that some of us, we focus on being creative, being team player, and paying attention to details. Yes, these are some of, I can call them the soft skills, but the employer is very much focused into seeing, do you possess the relevant skills to help them do this job? So presentation, communication, organization, coordination, negotiation, and all such kind of stuff. So note these keywords down, and then we are going to see how do you bring them and get them to your CV so that at least you get to become the best, as in you get to become a magnet when it comes to the hiring. So companies typically list desired skills on their JD in the sequential order or priorities. So it is very important, depending on how the job description is listed, the skills will be appearing in the order of their priority. So it is your key role to ensure that you pick these relevant skills, note them down, and then in the process, we are going to see that we are going to see how you're going to include it on your CV. So if the skill, if the skills that they're looking for is not something that you have prior maybe involvement with in the job market, you may have conducted maybe a similar project like a side hustle, maybe internship in college. So, or internship in college. So these are some of the, perhaps you measured user engagement on social media channel, or either you conducted surveys as a side hustle to gain insight on a product service, you scheduled and organized annual company event. So these are some of the skills that you can pull, because you'll find that if you are having an entry-level job, sometimes it's very difficult for you to defend this skill set. Not on the skills and competency, once you've picked them there, we're going to see how you can intermarry. Then we have the qualification and experience. So this section of a JD typically indicates how many years of experience they require maybe from the candidate. So you should make sure that your resume matches the required or comes close to this. Sometimes they're looking for somebody who's been in the industry for 7 years, but in your case, you've only worked for 5 years. So what you can do is you can apply for the job, put in the 5 years, but still you can include the projects that you did. You can include the projects that you did. Sorry, we're already recording the meeting. Thank you for your consent. We'll share the meeting, and then we'll share the link. So the qualifications, maybe pick from the qualifications. What kind of qualifications do you possess, and what kind of qualifications are the employers looking for. So when you are doing your CV, you'll ensure that whatever they are doing is like you're trying to marry the two. Another thing that happens, like a question was asked that sometimes you'll find doctors working in Ubers, or you'll find lawyers working in hospitals, or maybe you'll find the HR professional working in sales. The experience that you gained when doing the job that is not relevant to what they are looking for. So instead of saying that you've had 10 years of experience, you can categorize it, and maybe you can focus your skills to match the industry that they are looking for. So for example, if the JD qualification includes 3 or 4 years in marketing role, double check that relevant work dates on your resume to ensure that it adds up to at least 2 years. So that you don't just write you've worked for 10 years, but when you look into your CV, you will only realize that you've worked for 4 years. So you cannot account for the extra 6 years. With as much as they were looking for somebody with a 10 years experience, you can match it to around 7 years of experience. And then now you defend your 7 years. I know you might be asking me, I'm just fresh from graduate. I don't have the work experience. How do I include this on my CV? Remember, even when you're in campus, there are these things we call side projects, something you did in class either as a project, something you did within during your time of study, maybe in the university, like organizing the football games, the positions. You can pick through the skills that they're talking about, and then you see how to present them to your CV. So if you are entering the workforce and the JD requires 2 years of experience, apply anyway. Then qualifying experience can take many forms. This includes internship, it includes school projects, it includes volunteer activities, and it includes freelance work. So it's not just a must you list the 8 to 5 jobs. You can still pick this kind of experience. 2, you can still pick these kinds of experience maybe from the side projects that you did. So crafting a resume that matches your JD. So once you've identified the job responsibilities and the skills required, so you want to borrow from the JD. So there are 2 places on your resume where you should put them first. Your profile summary is always a magnet to whoever is going to hire you. And how is this a magnet? Remember, we had talked about picking things whereby I was telling you guys to note it down. We were talking about picking the key skills, and maybe taking notes on what the employer is looking for. So when you're crafting your summary, it is important, and it's also paramount. Sorry, it is important that once you pick them and you've understood, you can now reflect this on your profile summary sections. I've had sessions with people, especially whereby when in their profile summary, it's all about their university, it's all about their good character. But so this is what they send to their employer. Yes, you can be a good person, but I've not interacted with you. I don't know you. What I want to know from you is, are you able to do what exactly I want you to do? So when it comes to the profile summary, this is just a summary statement at the top of your resume that briefly states your career goals and qualifications. So if you include this section on your resume, you can use it to match experience with requirements from your job search. In the job application, maybe they were looking for somebody with somebody who's a tech savvy. They are looking for somebody with good negotiation skills. They are looking for somebody with 10 years of experience. They are looking for somebody with maybe a proven track record. Maybe somebody who has a know-how on how to use the CRMs. So when doing this, what you need to do is you need now to pick these key points and summarize yourself. You need to pick these key points and summarize yourself under the profile session. So let's say, for example, you picked maybe something like negotiation skills, you pick something like problem solving skills, you pick something like the leadership skills. So in that session, you pick, like, you use their words to write your profile. My name is Coach Kelvin Waga, a seasoned marketing and career coach. I have a decade plus years of experience in that particular field. And in that case, I've utilized my skills, my negotiation skills, my problem solving skills, and my leadership skills to help grow the organization. I trust that I believe that the skills that I have will make me the best candidate and will help you achieve your goals. And when it comes to now achieving the goals, this is something that you can pick, like what are the key qualities that they are looking for. So you realize that you pick the keywords from the job descriptions to write your profile summary. When I'm the one going through your CV, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is the right person. I think is whatever he's talking about is clearly picked from, as in whatever we are looking for, this is the right person to do it. But in most cases, once we have a customized profile summary, you'll realize that that is what we'll be using, whether it matches whatever the employer wants or not. So use your statement to highlight some of the key responsibilities, the verbs maybe that we talked about, and then expertise, the nouns listed in the JD. Here is an example of what you might look at. For example, you can say something like analytical driven social media associate with 1 year of experience, skilled in managing and developing social media strategies, writing social copies for multiple platform, and executing paid and organic digital campaign. When you look at that example, you realize that I've just handpicked things from the JD, and I've used them to analyze. I've used them to maybe write my profile section. The number 2 is now where you have the beneath bullets under your job titles. We have now the key competency and we have your key competencies, or somewhere you'll find that people have listed their skills. So there are several ways you can organize your work experience sections on your resume. If you're early in the career, if you're early in your career, you might prefer to highlight your most relevant skills instead of your most recent jobs. If you've held one or more positions, you can go through the traditional way of listing your JDs. And while at it, you need, after you're done with that, now you can, below your like the key responsibility, your work, at least you can list some of these skills and how you use these skills to help the organization. Yes. I'm not on that slide. I'll share the notes. So maybe I'll find a way of sharing this. Then I'll get a link so you can access the link. I'm not on that slide. This was just a document I prepared on the side. Okay, thank you. So in the JD, for instance, mention conducting surveys. You might say something like increase survey engagement rate by 25%. If the job description mentions developing and maintaining productions timeline, you might say something like project managed 5 initiatives in 2023, including oversight of production timelines and deadlines. If, for instance, the job description mentions assessing competitors, offering and presenting suggestion, you might state something like routinely presented competitors analysis report with responsive strategies and recommendations. So under your job description, like under your roles, what you can do is ensure that some of these skills, if you cannot all include them in your summary, you can still, under your roles, at least ensure that you mention a skills, and then tell them how you utilized those skills to help achieve the goals. So These are just ways on which you can, reflect, especially the most parts you should edit on your CV when you get these jobs. That is the profile summary and the job, like your work experience. So in your work experience, ensure that these skills are highlighted, and then go ahead and highlight them in such a way, not just mentioning, but how you were able to utilize these particular skills. As we proceed, if you have a question, we can utilize the chat session, and then we'll get to go through them. So that being said, allow me to get back now to the presentation. So under the presentation, we have job seeking process, whereby the first thing is their curriculum vitae. So generating interest in you and your skills, which will lead to the interview. So it allows you opportunity to sell yourself. So it's a passport to a job. It's a record of all your education, work history, and skills. So this is the most important document a job seeker can produce. Depending, like it's an elevator pitch. Depending on how you utilize or how you present it, is what will make you the perfect candidate, or is what will make you not a perfect candidate for that job. So ensure your resume is crafted clearly, and ensure that you capture the attention that best describes you. I'd recommend you have a 2-page resume than have a 5-page resume with total crap, whereby at least it's just too much words. There's nothing to clearly articulate or maybe explain who you are as a candidate. So your CV should be a personal marketing tool, whereby you sell your skills and abilities to your future employer. So your CV should be a personal marketing tool, whereby you sell your skills and ability to future employer. It should be comprehensive, whereby when I talk about being comprehensive, you should present full potential, and then have solid examples to back up each item you've listed. And then your CV should be concise, have a good balance of information. You may need a few drafts, opportunities to expand further at the interview. It's not a must to include every skill. It's not a must to include every, it's not a must to include, everything that you did, but still you can ensure you craft your CV in a way. A CV doesn't have a maximum number of pages or a minimum number of pages. It can only, whatever determines your CV is how best can you sell yourself. If you think maybe a 5-page document or even a 6-page document can sell you well and good, with as much as you filled your CV with relevant data that will help you secure a job. I've seen people still doing CV whereby they include their age number, like their age, they include their sex, either male or female, they include their localities, they include where they live, they include like a lot of crap that will not really open doors for you. So when I said 2 pages, I didn't mean exactly 2 pages, but I meant that it's not a must, because I've written some people that when we do the CVs for them, they're like, the CV is small. I want it to be like a 10-page so that somebody can say I have experience. So you can do like there are people who have even a 1-page CV, a 2-page CV, a 3-page CV. But now the question you need to answer yourself is, does it clearly outline who I am and what I'm capable of doing? So if that is well reflected in the CV that you have, it can now be easy. Like you can use the kind of format that you have. 1-page CV, it depends, because there are people, okay, you are having a 1-page CV, for instance, you might have the 1-page CV, and the 1-page CV is something that clearly outlines. And now this brings me to the question that one of us asked, whereby one of us asked as the difference. Sorry, just give me a minute. Just give me a second. One of us asked us the difference between a CV and a resume. And I think just to make the class interactive as possible, I'd answered the question on the group, but I would just love us to get the views from the field, from the participants. What do you think is the difference between the CV and a resume? I'm opening the questions to the floor, the question to the floor. You can unmute, you can raise your hand, I'll pick you and then you can. What do you think is the difference between a CV and a resume? Do you think they are the same thing? Or do you think, can I get a volunteer? Or you can raise your hands and I'll be able to pick you from the list. Okay, yes, Mary?
Hi, Kelvin and everyone. So let me try to go and answer that question. A resume should be a brief summary of your CV. Or the CV is an executive document with all your experience and qualifications. So for me, how have you described that a CV is my executive document with every my qualifications plus my experience and my skill set, while the resume is a shorter version of a CV, a summary of all that in a shorter version. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Any other observation or any other point? You can raise your hands, please. The key to these classes is the more you ask questions, the more you participate, the more you get to learn. Romano says a CV is in British English and a resume is in American English. That is Romano's feedback. Willie says the CV presents a full history of your academic credential, so the length of the document is variable, while in contrast, a resume presents a concise picture of your skills and qualification for a specific position. So a resume is normally short and to the point, and a resume clearly tells the employer the skills that you possess, the skills and the qualifications that you possess to make you the best candidate for the job, while a CV is now a step-by-step, like a process, your job description, like it's a document that entails the job description. It's a document that, not the job description, the schools you attended, the places you've worked. Like it's a long document that explains a lot about you. But a resume summarizes your general skill set and qualifications. Going forward, these are the content of the CV. So number one, the one thing that you need to be very clear is the details. Sorry, one thing that you need to be clear about is the details. Under the details, you should have your name, you should have your contacts, their email address, and optional, if you would like, you can have your physical address. And then that is now the first section of the CV, something that at least must be clearly outlined on the CV. Number two is the profile sections. Under profile sections, this is where you highlight the history for like over 3 years experience in retail. This is now the profile summary part. You highlight the transferable skills. You highlight the transferable skills, good organization, numeracy, and IT skills. And then now the personal qualities, reliable, hardworking, and friendly person. So these are some of the things that you need to reflect under your, profile summary. And this should be in relation to the job that you're applying for. So after like, you can capture the information we talked about there and then bring it here and ensure that you reflect. We have educational and training. Under education, you can include the college, the dates, and the course qualification. So In some cases, you can even list, you'll find in some CVs, it gives you, for instance, I studied at Nairobi University for a period of this and this and this. This is the maybe the degree that I studied. While still in that university, I gained this particular, maybe this particular skill set. So in some CVs, you can go ahead and elaborate maybe some other skill set or the project you performed, because in some, especially on the senior roles, you can be asked to attach some of the projects you did while in school. And then now we have work history. So under work history, whatever is important is the dates, employer's name, job title, functions, and the job. Remember, I said when you're going through your JD, especially the roles and responsibility that they are looking for, pick those details, as in pick those keywords, and now come utilize the keywords here. Don't just mention like I did. Like for instance, if they say we are looking for somebody with adept knowledge in customer service, don't just copy paste that and bring it here. Let us know in your previous current role, how did you utilize those? Like how did you utilize your experience to solve a problem, to help escalate a situation, or maybe to give a solution to a particular stuff. So in the roles description, don't let us avoid the generic listing, but still ahead you can maybe list a skill. You list how you used it, you utilize the skill, and then now you can just give like a small elaboration on the same, And then we have the additional information. For instance, we have if you have any other certifications, if you have maybe the driving license, if you're looking for a role that may entail traveling, and then now you can include the volunteering part. Some of us mistake volunteering part with work. Some of us are not including, some of us mistake the volunteering work and the work experience. You'll find that somebody has like 7 roles, as in 7 places they've worked in. But when you look at it, you realize that only 2 or 3 of them are relevant to the jobs that they are applying for. If you've been a teacher somewhere and you're working in the banking industry, you can just write now, note that one down under volunteering session. If maybe you are a hotel assistant and you're working maybe in the law industry, you'll realize that your law and maybe the entry level jobs that you did does not clearly reflect on well on your CV. So is it important maybe to add your primary and your secondary schools? This all depends. If you are an entry level, candidate, it is important because under education you don't have much to write. But if you're somebody who owns a lot of maybe accolades, if you have PhDs, you have masters, you have, let's say for example, somebody like Babu Owino that has lots and lots and lots of those stuffs, you might find that it is not really important to add educational information that doesn't add value. And then we have, you can include your hobbies of interest, as in your hobbies and interests. This is whereby you just showcase the balance between, you can showcase the balance, like your work-life balance. Despite working, you still care about your mental health. And in that case, under your hobbies and interests, that is something that you're supposed to reflect. And then now you have the last session, which is the reference session. Under the reference session, this is, you have the list of referee. Yeah, the other day, I think around 2 days ago, I was following a conversation in a group whereby somebody suggested that we should have some numbers and call our referees just to hear what they are saying. Before you put somebody as a referee, at least ensure this is somebody who has best interest for you, and this is somebody who can speak to you in a room when, like, can speak positively about you in a room where you are not. That being said, sorry. So we have different types of CVs. We have like three major types of CV. We have number one, which is functional CV. Functional CV focuses more on the skills and what you bring to the table. And then we have a combination CV. A combination CV consists, it's a combination of both the skills that you have and the jobs that you have. And then we have a chronological CV. A chronological CV is whereby you list everything, maybe job history in the reverse order, where current, present, like you list everything that you have. So these are just some maybe something that you need to take note of, depending on what the employer is asking for. You can know what example of CV to present. I'm still receiving questions. Thank you so much, Sarah. That is well taken care of. We can also share our feedbacks and our experience on the session so far. So what are some of the key things that you need to look into when you're doing the CV? You need to keep your CV, it's called keep it short and simple, roughly 2 pages, or if you can do 3 pages or 4 pages, depending on your work experience and maybe general experience that you have. You need to use action words. Action words is all about, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I've done, and this is what I'm able to do. Number 2, you need to keep it clear and clean. Sometimes we realize that we are so much interested on the look, on the outlook and the general format of the CV that we now make it difficult for the employers, the potential employers, and the hiring managers to clearly pick what they want. So it's paramount that you keep your CV clear and clean. Then decide the design. It can be something which is appealing to the eye, not something that everything is jumbled up. The formatting, maybe the formatting, typography are out of place. Ensure that your CV is well designed and is something which is catchy to the eye and also easy for somebody to follow through. Always ensure, because I've seen CVs with a lot of spelling mistakes. Once you've done your CV, take time, do it over and over again. The important thing about this is you can use the tools. We have the grammar, we have the AI tools that can help you spell check your CV. You can maybe integrate them in your Word document, or even if you go to the site, at least you proofread to ensure that your spelling, grammar is okay. So keep your CV up to date. There are people who they send their CV, either maybe somebody, a referral wanted their CV so quick, they're unable to reach maybe their revamper or maybe their coach. So what they'll do, they'll send the CV and then call that person and say, there are things which are not updated on the CV. Give me time, when I get the interview, I'll update. So ensure that everything is like your CV is up to date. So this is it's an optional. You can put your name on every page. This is optional if you want, but still it's very important, because sometimes when they are perusing through, it is easy for them to capture, and then it's easy for them to capture your names and your details. Okay, proceeding. Make it easy for interviewers to find you. So minimize personal data. There's some information that you need to leave for the interviews, so that at least you don't give too much in a personal data, so that at least you make it at least easy for the interviewers to find you. So writing from present to past, avoid gaps, and then tell the truth. This is something I normally stresses on so much, telling the truth on your CV, because when you lie on your CV, when you're called for an interview, if you've not taken your time to go through whatever is required, you'll realize that it will be difficult for you. Like you'll be telling opposite, you'll be talking of opposite of what you're supposed to talk about. So ensure that you tell the truth on your CV. Or if you've fabricated a lie, at least ensure that you can defend that lie. Something that I say, practice it until you make it, not fake it until you make it. PDF document is always good because due to one reason or another, somebody cannot edit your CV. Unless you're sending it to somebody who wants to edit it first, I would highly recommend that you send a PDF document, unless the people, like the hiring agency or the company, ask you to send it in a Word document. So that being said, now we get into the cover letter. The CV, you've presented your skills, you've presented yourself as the best candidate. Now, you need to tell these people why you need the job. So the cover letter comes in whereby it provides you an opportunity to highlight your key skills, your specific key skills that match the job requirements. So the letter should have a good appearance. Number two, the letter should make it perfect and use business corresponding formats. Write to a specific person. Like, you cannot write to everybody, the person to whom it may concern, dear hiring manager. So write to a specific person, depending, like you'll be told where to send your CV. And if it's not reflected on the JD, what you can do is maybe you can just write to whom it may concern, to whom it may concern. So when writing your cover letter, still I'll insist, the notes that you picked, use a grabber first sentences. And when you talk about grabber first sentences is, I know what I'm looking for, so that when I read your first sentence of your cover letter, it should reflect what I'm looking for. So then you should include why you are attracted to the position. So why you're attracted to the position can be the relevant skills that you possess. It can be that you're passionate about the position. And then it can be like you can have relevant reasons as to why you apply for them, why you apply for the position. Then highlight your experience, skills, and relevant to the job. I have been in the industry for a decade plus, and I possess these particular skills too that will make me the best candidate for the job. Include information about training and personal traits. So if you've been a trainer or you've attended trainings that can help maybe organization in relation to their job advert, include that. So state your next step in your CV once you get this opportunity. What, as in not in your CV, but in your cover letter. Once you get this opportunity, what next? And then thank the person for time and considerations. So if you've captured all we've talked about here, that should summarize the one-page cover letter, whereby it highlights what the employer or the potential employer is looking for. That being said, there are a few things maybe I need to also highlight, that what not to do on your CV. When it comes to, I've seen people whereby they just list skills without generally elaborating on the skills. It is very important that when you list these skills, when you list these skills, at least you elaborate how you used those particular skills. So don't stick a skills section at the bottom of your resume and fit the random keywords. Random keywords are the keys. The key concept of skill set in a CV should be it contextualize your skills and competency in a way that stands out from hundreds of other applicants. So when you're doing this, ensure that when you're listing these skills, at least give an elaboration how you utilize these skills. Number two, don't rely on AI tools. There are people who craft their CV and they trust AI tools such as ChatGPT, Resume Rewarded, Resume Careers.com. So there are these platforms where you can use to write your resume. Remember, it's you who know yourself better. So even when you're commanding these platforms to write your CV, remember the key important thing is the prompt that you feed them in for them to help you craft a memorable CV. So you need to key in the prompt that will give you exactly what you are looking for. But use these ones just to give you a guideline, then fine tune the document so that at least, even though the CV should be read by a robot, but still it's a human, like it's representing a human personality. So don't over robot your CV so much. And then lastly, another thing to do is remember it is you who is going to sell yourself. So master the art of your CV, master the art of presenting yourself, and do it. Take time to go through your CV severally, so at least to pinpoint the places and the parts that you're supposed to improve. That being said, and now the last part of, sorry, the last part of this is just a teaser. This is just a brief of what to expect when you get to attend the premium classes. So just like I said, we are onboarding cohort 2. And in the cohort 2, you'll get to learn much, because I can tell you in the cohort that we last had, we took a job application, we went through a process by process on how to apply it. And then after the application, we talked about what next, how do you prepare for an interview? And then we talked about the interview preparations. And then finally, we talked about remote job applications and sites that you can get to apply for this remote job. Because you realize either some of us are working and some of us maybe doesn't have enough resources to, like whatever you are earning is not enough to help you keep updated, to help you keep up, like help you maintain your life standard. So you need some side hustles. So I would really encourage us to take these positions. Only right as we speak, only we have 25 slots left. And these 25 slots, you will realize that you'll get to learn a lot. And I saw even one of us posted in the group that the session that she had helped her secure a job. I'm really looking forward to feature you as my next success story. And the only way you'll get to do this is by attending the premium session, because when you get the premium session, you get a lot. And the other cohort was lucky enough to learn those things in 2 days, and even the 2 days were not enough. After that session, we had a one-on-one with some of them, whereby we are still working to progress on that those particular skills. So the session is 1,200 Kenya shillings, and the way you can book is you can make payments to the details that are highlighted there, and then now you send the transaction message. Remember, this is a first come first serve basis. We are going to have these cohorts, but as we have this cohort, because as we normalize ourselves, the prices will keep on increasing. So what I can tell you is find time, reserve a spot for you early enough. If you're interested in this, I'll post this on the WhatsApp group. You can side chat and you can see how to onboard you on the second cohort. Out of 25 people who we had, I can say that so far we have around 4 or 5 who are having success story, and this is just 4 days after. So the more we do this, the more we'll get to learn, and the more we'll get to have the information. So if you want to perfect your job searching skill, either you have a job and you're looking for another opportunity, this is a golden opportunity for you. And I would highly urge you to consider this premium version, because on the free version is whereby we just brush through the items and then maybe guide you through the same. So that being said, I'll open now the floor to questions and answer, and questions and feedback as we prepare now to close the meeting. So maybe okay, you can unmute your mic and ask a question. We can utilize the chat session. You can utilize the chat session so that we proceed. So you can mute your mic.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm Charity from Swaziland. I have a question. I graduated in 2021, November, and I have been struggling to get a job. I've gotten an interview last year around December, but of course it was not successful, too bad. But I wanna know if it was on my side, it is always on my side or on their side. I wrote a very impressive CV, so they say, because I was selected for the interview. But my problem is that I think maybe I overshared. I asked a question there, but I think you have not seen it. I am asking is it okay to write your plan after getting the job? Like there, as actually you mentioned how the company is going to benefit from me I'm a radiographer, by the way. How the hospital is going to benefit from me being a radiographer.
Sorry, I can kindly unmute whoever is, so that at least we have one speaker at a time. Okay. Sorry about that. Kindly mute so that at least we have one speaker at a time.
Okay.
Okay, let me mute the person. Okay. Guys, let us mute our mic so that at least we have one speaker at a time. Okay, yes, you can proceed.
All right. As I was saying, okay, I was asking if it's okay to include what you actually want to be, because radiography is just a beginner's job, right? You are just entering, I just have a bachelor's degree, but there is a room for improvement. Was it okay for me to mention that I want to be an interventional radiographer or a therapeutic radiographer, around those times, or if I want to specialize in MRI or CT, because they actually have those equipment there that can allow me to actually specialize and grow in my career. Is it okay to overshare? Was I oversharing, or I was within my rights to mention how the hospital is going to benefit from me, and how I am going to make sure that they continue to benefit by improving myself to being another thing instead of just a general radiographer? Thank you.
Yes, my answer is a yes and a no, depending on your area. Like for yourself is the medical area. Sometimes oversharing makes the employers or the potential recruiters look at yourself as ambitious, but still you don't need to be specific about where you want to be or what you want to do. What you can do is, what you can share for now is your ambition to either grow and learn, and you're looking forward to specialize or perfect your skills without necessarily mentioning how you're going to do it. So yes, sometimes it's good to overshare, but sometimes you need to limit this oversharing now when you go to the interview. So given the interview time whereby you're told to speak about your future, maybe 5-year plans, 4-year plans, this is now whereby you can talk about anything that you want to know. I don't know if I've answered you.
Yeah, you have. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So with the right person to put as your reference once you are requested, you can have your colleagues, your former colleagues, your immediate manager, reporting manager, or somebody who at least has a clear understanding of who you are. Don't just pick anybody and put them as referees. But nowadays I see people putting fake referees on their platforms, whereby at least they have friends that stands in for them. But generally, your immediate manager, your boss, your colleague can be your referee. This is just for them to speak something positive about you. So what are the charges for CV revamp for cover letter if you've been unemployed for a year or so? For the charges and cover letter, please, I would ask that you cite charters, and then we'll be able to agree to disagree. Somebody has asked me about what technical assessment is. So technical assessment, technical assessment is whereby you're given, how do I call it? You are given maybe some questionnaires to answer. This is just to test on your skills and understanding of the technical areas. So it's like being asked an interview, how would you do this given opportunity? How do you tackle these particular things? These people are just going to test your technical skills maybe in relations to your field of field of study. So technical written test is whereby you're given questions and then you're able to answer the questions in relation to your technical skills. Coach, talk about this referee ruining your chances of getting a job by giving unpleasant feedback. Before I put you on my CV, I have to ensure that I know you well, and it's not it's not official, but I would have to go by the advice of what one of us recommended. Sometimes have people call them just to know in case somebody calls for an opportunity, how would they talk about you? So any question? Maybe I'll open 4 positions just to tell us how the event was, if maybe you've learned something new. So I don't know, you can raise your hand and see if you can go first. You can raise your hands. We can have like 4 feedbacks, 2 ladies, 2 gentlemen. By then, before that happens, I have seen Catherine Mugo was one of us. Maybe at least you can give us your experience of the premium version as we welcome maybe feedback from us. So Catherine, kindly unmute and give us your experience, if it is something you are proud of or if it's something you regret attending. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, Kelvin and everyone. Sorry, I'm on transit in heavy rain. So I hope I'm a bit audible. I'll just brief. I'll be listening to actually what I would tell them. Anybody who has not, this is the best deal you'll ever get. Within the week, actually the 2 days were not enough. We did them, I think, from around somewhere 7 p.m. But I can tell you whatever amount that coach is asking you to pay actually does not match any of the nuggets and the insights that he's going to share. And I love the fact that he's ready to also hold many people's hands, because people are in different parts of their either career, job search, people want to advance, and some have not been in the market for so long. So coach is able to guide us here and there. So I would really ask you, at least these sessions are also very insightful, what you learned today, but you're going to learn much more in the premium version. And again, like coach said, that's where he'll get to also understand you in person and know what else you need to do to go ahead. So anybody who is not in that, kindly do not miss out on the 25 slots, because they are limited. And whatever we have also learned today, and the other, I think two other free sessions that have been done on Sunday are very insightful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Now let's open floor to, okay, I've seen Veronica. Veronica is actively looking for a job, and she's learned a lot, and they're still working with her on personal basis just to see on how she can be able to land a job. So Veronica, can you kindly maybe unmute and tell us your experience? I saw,
Good evening.
yeah.
Good evening, coach. Good evening, everybody. Actually, the session we've gone through with coach has been insightful. And as for you guys just coming in for the first time, you'll see that you've learned a lot. I know previously you guys have had your CVs that you've written before for jobs, especially for new guys coming in from universities and those who have had issues with employment, and you've been sitting for 2 years or 3 years. You've seen that there are a lot of new things that coach is sharing. And the premium classes is actually loaded. It's actually loaded. And for us looking for jobs, this is an opportunity for you to get more. in order to broaden, to open out your horizon in the way you apply your skills onto your CV, or how you get yourself prepared, especially if you're going to face an interview. So it's very, very insightful. I want you all to make that opportunity to go for the next cohort coming. Okay, the payment is, you've seen it, 1,000 shillings, Kenyan shillings, like it's expensive, but honestly, it's not as compared to other coaches that have approached to go through these sessions. So this one is very, very reasonable. I'm counting on you all to also continue the process, so that pay for the premium session, so that you'll be able to get more to fast track the process of you having a job or having an opportunity when you face an interview, to be able to give your best, and then you succeed in getting the job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Veronica. So let me open the floor. You can unmute, you can raise your hand, I'll pick you, then you give your feedback, or in case you need any clarification. As we do that, I have a Google profile, Coach Kelvin Wagalsha, the link in the group. So if you don't mind, at least you can give me a review, and maybe you can accompany it with a comment. This will help me build the visibility. And because, just like I said, it's not about money for me, I would like to also grow the brand so that we can reach as many people as possible. As next year, I'm looking to either I'm looking to maybe impact 200,000. The only way for me to do this is through LinkedIn and for the Google platform. And my website is also coming soon. Yes, Romano. You can unmute and speak. Yes, Romano. Kindly unmute your mic.
Good evening, coaches.
Good evening.
My apologies, I joined late, but I've learned a lot. But my concern is, how can you explain to, in an interview session, maybe the career gaps in your CV?
Okay, thank you. There's a day we had a conversation on the same. On the group, but I'll still tackle the question. There are several ways you can explain your career gaps. One, if you're not employed, there are other things that you're doing on the side. So maybe that is one of our ways you can at least tell employer you are not idling around. Either it can be entrepreneurship, either it can be maybe you went back to school, or maybe you're just doing other skills. So when it comes to the career gap and what to include on your CV, sometimes some people just take a career break for one reason or the other. So what is important for you to reflect is, during your career break, how are you able to maybe self-improve yourself or develop yourself to something good. So there are several ways you can either explain a career break, you can explain maybe education, or maybe you just wanted to dip your hands into, maybe into, how do I call it, entrepreneurship, just to gain the relevant skills. So you can explain what you are doing during those times. With as much as you're looking for jobs, but still there are other stuff that you do. I can see, like, my virtual assistant here, Mercy, she's doing her 8 to 5 job, but on the side, she's still doing her VA services. So these are some of the things that you can explain when you're asked to explain the career gap. But it's not wise to say, I didn't have something to do, I was just seated back at home. Look around how you can serenade those words to at least tell the potential employer that with as much as you didn't have a 9 to 5 job, you're still doing something to affect your life. Thank you. Okay, so that being said, can we get personalized coaching? What you can do is, my number and my team are always ready to assist. You can just reach on the inbox because our preferences are different and our pocket load is also different. So I don't have like a customized cost to this, but what I do is we agree on a cost, and then from that now we can see how to help each other, because the key thing about it is always about helping. Okay, engineer Mugarura, kindly unmute and tell us something about the session today. And then maybe after that, Mercy also, you can say something.
Thank you so much, people. It has been a great meeting. We've learned a lot. Thank you, though I've joined late, but I hope next time the better. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Mercy, come in and say something. Mercy Kadure. Yes, Mercy. Okay, you can go, Kisato, you can unmute and speak.
Good evening, Coach.
Good evening.
Thank you for the session. It was insightful, but I have a question. For example, my case, I studied a different course. I did Bachelor of Science, General, Chemistry, Geography option. My experience is not relevant to my career. And I want to change careers to a totally different field from the one I studied and from the ones I've been doing the experience of 7 years. So how do I formulate my CV to match what I want to do without including the experiences? Thank you.
What I advise us, even if we are not doing things related to our field, but always find how you can at least practice some of your field so that you are changing careers, you don't digress totally from what you're doing. So that is always okay. If you look back into maybe coming back to your career, you can just pick some of the key roles, some of the key skills that worked in your current job that can work in maybe the job that you're applying for or the career that you're applying for, and then now explain to them how you utilized those skills, the experience to perform that particular job. But what I would urge is, even if you are doing something not related to our work, like what we studied in school, always ensure that at least in your 8 to 5, in your side hustles, at least you keep updated to maybe your career. But this also determines with your career path, what you are passionate about. That is what you should be able to build as time goes. But still you can pick skill sets and experiences from your former job, as in your current or former job, and then now see on how you can pick those skill set, be it team leadership, be it problem solving, and then see how you can explain it to these people, you can explain it to your potential employer. Thank you. Okay, thank you. That being said, Mercy, are you back? Essay, you want to say something? I can see you've unmuted your mic. All right. If there's no one else who would like to speak, let me take this opportunity to thank you all for sparing your time to listen to this session. I hope it was insightful. I hope you've learned something new. We are going to have more of these sessions, and in future we'll be inviting guests just to come and speak to us in various areas. So I look forward to your support in helping me hit the 100,000 mark. If it's God's will, you'll realize that maybe from us, the team here, we can be part of the success stories, as some of us have already done so. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to onboarding a team on 9th of next month. So thank you so much, and let's keep on exchanging and learning through the WhatsApp that we have. Thank you so much, and I'm really humble. So maybe we can get a volunteer to pray for us. I'll share the link for the recording so that at least you can listen through. In case of any inquiry, you can, you can reach to us, and we always be able to assist you. Thank you so much. So who is going to pray for us? Sharon, do you mind praying for us?
Okay, Coach.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, let's believe and pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we want to thank you for this opportunity, for this moment that we have had an invaluable session, King of Jehovah Father. Help us to whatever we have learned, King of Jehovah Father, to implement it so that we can see success in our careers. Also, bless the coach, King of Jehovah Father, as he goes ahead and give us his insights and invaluable knowledge, King of Jehovah Father, in this field of job search. We honor and we thank you. We pray for the next session, which is ahead of us, King of Jehovah Father. May your presence always go with us. We honor and we thank you. And this is our prayer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. I don't know who is inviting me for supper today. I'm available for supper. I don't know who has cooked some supper. I'll come and eat. Otherwise, thank you so much. Have a good night, and see you in our subsequent sessions. Bye-bye.